So a lot of people seem to have an issue with the Demon Slayer pacing, but to be honest, are they wrong? Yo, what's good, it's your boy Reviews, and heavy spoilers for Demon Slayer Season 3 Episode 7, You Have Been Warned. So the episode pretty much kicks off from last week's episode where Tanjiro's about to slice off the tiny man demon, but the moment he does that, a completely new demon appears from behind Tanjiro, and then you get this weird yet wacky amazing scene of this four-headed dragon attacking Tanjiro. At this point, I honestly thought Ufotable were just flexing with their CGI animation showing off, because mate, this animation is super amazing. The dragons have some sort of wood-like texture to them, almost like they were growing out from the trees. Nezuko says a big bro, and we get introduced to yet another new demon. Or is he new? Because his marking shows upper 4, which is the same as the other demons that Tanjiro and Genya have been fighting. And this guy's pretty mad at Tanjiro. To be honest with you, this dude gives me Shadow the Hedgehog vibes due to his black spiky hairstyle, and I like his art style. Genya explains in tremendous amount of detail how this new demon appeared. Originally, he was the anger demon who absorbed the joy and pleasure demon. He then went in for the attack and absorbed the blue-eye demon, Aizetsu. This scene was interesting because Aizetsu didn't seem to want to be absorbed by the demon of anger. He honestly looked scared and fearful, almost like this was never part of the original plan. So this seems to be some sort of last resort if things don't go the demon's ways. I won't lie, I was a bit mixed on the whole Genya explaining everything in his head monologue. It's just another anime trope where the main characters of a certain scene describe in full detail what is going on in the scene. It did feel a little bit odd, but it is what it is. The new upper demon is so mad at Tanjiro because he was about to attack the tiny man demon. He calls Tanjiro an awful villain, which is quite hypercritical of him to say, considering that he killed a lot of innocent people. Tanjiro then goes on this mini speech about how he's gonna behead him and how this demon isn't a good person. You have some intense shots of Nezuko and Genya looking at Tanjiro. Tanjiro and the new upper 4 have another interaction where upper 4 is quite confused as to why Tanjiro is concerned about humans that this demon devoured. Tanjiro once again shows us how wholesome and pure of heart and caring this dude is, caring for complete strangers. We cut to the creepy demon with the eyes for mouths and a mouth for an eye, and he's still got Tokito all trapped up in his bubble water jar prison thing. Tokito pretty much gives up and he's like accepting his fate, but then the ghost of Tanjiro appears in front of him, but Tanjiro's alive, he can't be a ghost. It looks like this is from Tokito's memory and he's reminiscing on someone telling our boy Tokito that no one knows what the future is going to hold, and Tokito doesn't remember Tanjiro ever saying something like that, which honestly left me quite confused. For a second I thought Tokito and Tanjiro started to share the same consciousness or something because Tanjiro started having these visions of a dude who looks like him, but that was just an oddball theory I had at the time. The demon Gyoko confronts Tanjiro's sword master, who was working super hard on polishing Tanjiro's blade. Despite the demon's presence and him slashing him up, he's still focusing on the work, which does take a huge amount of resolve and determination to withstand. Eventually, Gyoko slashes him up so much that it breaks his mask off and we finally get to see what he looks like. The way he used to treat Tanjiro in the past and his presence, I thought he was like someone over the age of 70, but it looks like he's a dude in his 20s. We cut back to our boy Tokito, who's still seeing the memory of this Tanjiro looking man. He still seems to give up on life and he just has pretty much accepted his fate, but little Kotetsu comes out to try and rescue Tokito, and possibly one of the grossest looking demons I've seen so far, that has these crab-like pincers and these really trippy eyes and a truly disturbing mustache, starts slashing Kotetsu over and over again. And the moment this happens, it starts triggering Tokito and he starts to show actual emotion towards another person for the first time. I quite like this because it's definitely developing Tokito as a person, and I think by next week we're going to truly see the deal with Tokito and his past. I think when Tokito saw Kotetsu getting slashed up by the crabfish thing, it must have triggered some memories of when he was a kid or something. That's just my theory, because towards the end of the episode he remembers that Tanjiro has the same eyes as his dad, and not just the same, it looks like they just copied and pasted Tanjiro's eyes onto this character design. So it got me wondering, are they related? Is Tokito somewhat the half-brother of Tanjiro? Or maybe he's a cousin to him? Who knows, we're gonna find out next week, but it was a pretty okay episode. A lot of people online felt that the pacing was quite slow and lackluster and people were not feeling Demon Slayer this week. I think most of the comments came from the scene after the mid-roll ad break, where it just kept panning back and forth between Tanjiro and Nezuko and the upper 4 demon. I didn't really notice the pacing issue until we started to cut towards Tokito inside that jar glass water prison thing. It kept cutting between Tokito and then Gyoko and then Tokito again, but that was just a small little nitpick. Overall, this episode gets a 7 out of 10 and it gets a B. What do you think of this episode? Do you think the pacing is bad in this episode, or is it good? Tell me and like and share for more Demon Slayer reactions, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings and more, as well as other anime updates and all that jazz. But thank you for watching, and as always, aboard your review, signing out.